Welcome back to a little bit of a welcome back to D&D spells. This is a bit of an educational show where I talk to you about Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition very specifically. Let me actually hold the book so you can see it. Wow, look, the book. It talks about 5th edition specifically, and we're going to be going over some of the spells that exist in there. We've gone over just a few of them, so I'm going to go over the next one in our little adventure, and this one is Alter Self, the second level transmutation spell, meaning that you are changing the way that something is, you are transforming it or transmuting it. It's second level, it's cast time of one action, so 6 seconds range on their self, so you can only cast it on oneself. It is a verbal and somatic, so you must be able to speak and move in order to cast it. I'm gonna die. It's a duration of 1 hour, and it's a concentration spell, so it is up to an hour unless you lose concentration, which can be a very difficult thing. Now, it is as follows. You assume a different form when you cast the spell. Choose one of the following options, the effects of which last for the duration of the spell, i.e. 1 hour. While the spell lasts 1 hour, you can one option as an action to gain the benefits of a different one. So there are the 3 options that are present, and if you want to switch from one to another, you most certainly can. It just takes 6 seconds, or an action. Aquatic Adaptation, you adapt your body to the aquatic environment, spreading gills, growing webbing between your fingers, and you breathe underwater and you gain a swimming speed equal to your walking speed, which can be incredibly useful if you're, say, campaign is set on the ocean. You need to go swim somewhere. Boom, goes dynamite. It's so fucking stupid. Change appearance. You can transform your appearance to decide what you look like, including your height, weight, facial features, sound of your voice, hair-like coloration, and distinguishing characteristics, if any. You can make yourself appear as a member of another race, though none of your statistics change. You can also, you also can't appear as a creature of a different size than you. So it's like, if you're a human or an elf or an orc, you can't be like, I'm gonna alter self into a gnome. You just can't do it because a gnome is size small, whereas the ones that I previously mentioned are medium. So, or you couldn't be like, I'm gonna alter self into a giant. That doesn't work. Your basic shape stays the same. If you are bipedal, you can't use the spell to become quadrupedal, for instance. At any time for the duration of the spell, you can use your action to change your appearance in this way. So this is basically an upgraded disguised self in this fashion. Say, because with disguised self, you are basically casting a bit of an illusion on yourself. If someone were, say, to go to touch your face, the facial features wouldn't match up. Or if you were, say, a foot shorter or a foot taller, if they try to wave your hand, they're either going to meet nothing or they're going to meet actually your face when they shouldn't be. That's a bit of a different thing. Natural weapons. You can grow claws, fangs, spines, horns, or a different natural weapon of your choice. Your unarmed strikes deal 1d6 piercing or slashing damage as appropriate to the natural weapon you choose, and you are proficient with your unarmed strikes. Finally, your natural weapon is magic, and you have a +1 bonus to the attack and damage rolls you make using them. Which is kind of interesting, saying if you're like in a rough situation and you just like don't have any melee anything or whatever, you just can kind of drop that. Grow your claws, fangs, go shibbity-doo-doo-slash, which is pretty nice. It's pretty effective because it's 1d6, and for a second level, I mean, that's pretty good for 1 hour. Only downside is that it is concentration, so if you are in that kind of situation where you need to do fisticuffs but with claws, every time that you take damage, you're gonna have to make a concentration check to make sure that you can still have that. So it's a bit of an iffy. See, if it would be more beneficial, I think, if you could cast it on a different person. So for example, if your low-level monk was gonna go and fight something, you could cast this and they have natural weapons, and then they would have a +1 bonus to their damage and attack rolls and a 1d6. In place of, say, a 1d4. Even if they already have 1d6 at the time, because of the way that monks work, it would still be very nice. So it's kind of like, oh man, that's a little rough. So the natural weapons, not the best. But the change appearance and aquatic adaptation are much better in my opinion. I think aquatic adaptation, changing your body into, say, a fish-like creature so you can swim around, it's pretty dope. I like that a lot. There's a lot of abilities that can kind of come around that, and there's a lot that one can do with them, in my opinion. And so I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. And change appearance is just, again, it's an upgraded disguise self. With disguise self, you are casting an illusion of yourself, whereas this one, you are quite literally changing the appearance of oneself, which is really nice. Although the downside is it's a second level and it's concentration. There are other ways that you can cast disguise self that would allow it to be way better. Like, there's just an example, like there is an Eldritch invocation for your Warlock that you can just mask many faces and you can just change your facial features. You basically get to use disguise self as a cantrip with the invocation Mask of Many Faces, which is real nice, let me tell you. And with this alter self, it's a second level slot and it takes concentration and only lasts for an hour. It's pretty rough, but in my opinion, the way that this kind of works out, if you wanted to pass through an area that specifically is resilient against illusions, this could be incredibly helpful because it's not an illusion. You shapeshifted into this person, which is super awesome. And so this, I find a lot of practical uses, and the ones that can use it, it would be your wizard and your artificer can use this. Though that there are some ways to get a hold of that spell in other classes. There are feats that you can get that allow you to get other types of spells and cantrips and whatnot. So I think it's pretty useful, but that's gonna be the end of this one. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.